gentlemen, welcome to Warp News Showdown, the best 40k game show on the internet. I am the most important 40k personality, Seth the Mad Dok, and I am here to bring you the show where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. This week I have a number of returning panelists, some of the fan favorites you might say, also the guys that are available on a Friday night. So let's get right into it. Say hello to our panelists, everyone. Welcome aboard, everyone. Oh God, we have above me. We have Tech Priest Dicky that's taking over the video screens because apparently he owns the proprietary rights to television screens on 40k shows.
I exist only in TV screens. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I love how Seth briefly featured
I showed
their
in my own.
laser. It's great.
To our upper left there, we've got Nathan of StatCheck and returning fan favorite and longtime winner of the show, Francois.
I do believe I am now legally your co-host.
That's true. I mean, yeah, I guess if someone wants to sponsor us and like actually offers money, I have to cut Francois in on the deal.
Actually, is right. Canadian common law rules say
we are married.
If you're pretty much married at this point in Canada.
Don't tell my wife, anyone. Don't tell my wife. It's all good. It's all good.
Your wife might appreciate the polycule that gives her abilities to cross the northern border.
Good point. Let's hold on. Wait a minute. All right, let's get into our first question. I should figure out who I'm starting with, but we'll for those folks that maybe haven't seen the show before, I am going to ask our lovely panelists here a question, and depending on their answers, I, again, being as the most important personality in 40k, will decide the correctness of their answers, and then you might hear a nice little positive ding when they get a point, or more appropriately, when Nathan speaks, and the reduction of a point. So let's get right into it, folks. Games Workshop and Henry Cavill are all steam ahead on their upcoming Amazon TV project. Everyone's super excited for it. In order to kind of lend the show the gravity and the seriousness that I think it needs, I suspect they're going to try to do some casting of maybe some Hollywood heavy hitters. So, since Gary Busey is the most renowned actor of our lifetime, what role would you cast Gary Busey in the Amazon Warhammer series? Let's start with Nathan.
We're going to cast Gary Busey as Gazkill Mag Uruk Thraka.
Oh.
Question, green skin paint or not?
It's all going to be CGI, let's be honest. It's going to be Gary Busey with a hefty dose of CGI. In fact, they'll do the mocap work similar to how they did Smog's mocap work with the
motion capture suit. Yeah.
So you'll see like behind the scenes things of him like arms out like this, going like this and stuff like that, and like walking around, just so you get that true Wah energy. But what they won't CGI is his Wah. His Wah will forever be the canonical Wah of the orcs.
I can't live with that, Francois.
So I agree with Nathan. An orc is an excellent choice for Gary Busey, but I think you gotta subvert the audiences a little bit. So what you're gonna do instead is cast him as the Emperor of Mankind, and the key to that is you never see his face. It's just a golden light that shines through, but you hear his voice, and I think that would be perfect.
Unedited or just the regular Gary Busey voice?
No, regular Gary Busey voice coming out of a CGI, like, blinding light Emperor where you can never see his face.
Tech Priest Dicky, what would you use Gary Busey for?
Okay, someone remind me what Gary Busey's been in lately.
He looks like Boris Johnson.
but slightly more drug use.
Yeah, more like a rock star version of.
Was he in Point Break?
Yes.
Okay,
maybe. No.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last movie he was apparently in was Sharknado: The Fourth Awakening.
Oh, see, that was a masterpiece.
Well, I'm taking points away for you not knowing Gary Busey.
Yeah, I apologize. Okay, so he is a very animated character. I would say he should play the role of his lifetime, actually. Fabulous Bile. He's energetic. He likes to make weird sounds. I think all these things are Gary Busey. So yes, Fabulous Bile.
And strange fluids are leaking from him frequently.
Yes.
All right. Now that we've got ourselves warmed up and loosened up, let's talk about something that's near and dear to all of our hearts as larger men. What is the perfect event lunch? You got to make sure you eat the right meal because that's going to affect your next two games. So let's start off with Francois. Perfect event lunch.
Okay, let me take you on a journey
Oh,
to
boy.
the lunch that we had at the Ottawa 40K teams tournament last year. Now, picture this. We're in this city-owned...
Oh,
Ah!
we've shut him down.
I was at that lunch for Ottawa teams, and it did the same thing to Francois that it did to the players at Ottawa teams.
Did it freeze the players?
It froze him.
turned
It
them
froze him right
inside
up.
out. It did.
He kept eating, and he just refused to stop eating, and he couldn't play any longer. It was
Well, Francois, -2 points for being frozen.
weird. Ow!
On to
My
Dickie. Dickie, what is your perfect event lunch?
Wow. So being Canadian, the only correct answer here is a big, heaping plate of heavy as heck poutine. I tell ya, you're not gonna want to play rounds, the next 2 rounds at all. And you know what? That's okay, because you're full.
You might not be able to play the next day either.
No, yeah, you may just be left at home, on Sunday. Yeah.
Nathan, perfect event lunch.
The most correct answer is to go 0-3 and then go on a lunchtime adventure with your best buddy at the event and go get chocolate and pastries.
That's definitely not a personal story about Nathan and I at WTC at all. Definitely not.
No.
Oh, we've lost Francois
Definitely
again.
It's okay. Internet's
This is
fickle.
really how Francois loses, is that Canada has 2 internets. And
Yeah, I have the. Unfortunately, you put me on the show, so I am taking all the other internet from Canada. So,
We've cracked the code, and there's only one moose capable of traversing the internet lines in Canada.
That's right. That's right.
But
Dickie stole my internet.
Yeah, all right.
In the middle of my story, too. I was telling a lovely story.
No, it's all right. It's too late now. All right. So moving on. The coaching scene in 40K continues to grow, with Art of War constantly adding new coaches. The folks over at StatCheck just announced Liam VSL and Nassim as coaches, and now David Gaylord opening his own coaching service under 40K Fireside. I have to ask the question, boys. At what point are there going to be more coaches in 40K than players? Let's start with Dickie.
Okay, so as a coach of Team Canada,
You don't get
all
paid.
these. It's true. I don't get paid. I don't. I pay a lot. I don't get paid. I actually take offense to all these would-be coaches trying to take my gimmick. So you know what? I don't like it, Seth, and I think more upstanding coaches like myself, like Kyle Grundy, who was a coach on Team England last year. These coaches should get more praise and possibly pay. Please pay us. I would ask all those other coaches, how much are they making? I would like to know. I would like to see their balance sheet on how much they're making.
All right, Nathan.
Yeah.
Coaching overload. What are your thoughts? This is hard because StatCheck, in fact, now has a large field of coaches. So I don't want to harm any of my StatCheck friends by...
You can besmirch the other services.
...speaking ill of our service, but it's okay because we have the only good one.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's more like Art of Who, Fireside of What? Like, who is David Gaylord? Yeah, I know. Sorry, Seth.
I mean, you could have made fun of your own coach because Liam couldn't even figure out how to turn on a microphone.
Liam's a young man. He doesn't know anything that's not a tablet, I think, is really the truest of
You have to
statements.
put internet on a tablet. God damn it.
All
He can
coaching
put
must
the
be done by
internet on
tablets
it.
now.
All of the internet must be done in whatever Gen Z function is best. That's all I'm guessing is the truth.
I have an interesting question, if I might add. They say that some of the best players don't make good coaches. What do you guys think? Do you think really good players make good coaches in this game?
I'm going to minus some points for derailing because I haven't even gotten to Francois yet.
Yeah.
Poor Francois got cut off by your internet, and now you're derailing him by changing the question. Francois coaching overload. Ignore Dickie.
I swear I had an answer to that before Dickie derailed us, but
Points for sympathy.
Yes. So I think that It's the natural evolution of the game. Just like a couple of years ago, it was apparently legally required for every top competitive player to have a podcast. Now it's apparently legally required for every top player to offer some sort of a coaching service. Now, as a educator myself, I am a professor. I will say it's probably a good thing. You can learn a lot from coaches. Now,
Give it a point.
I've never,
Like a professor.
I've never paid for coaching. I think it's a waste of time. But
There we go.
for a lot of people out there, there's probably not everyone has let's be honest, not everyone has the time to play a million games, and you can get a lot out of coaching because it's going to give you a lot for the limited time that you have. Now, if you're like me and have nothing better to do, you can just play a million games and probably get better that way. But if you can't play a million games, actually coaching's a good thing. I'm sorry, I'm undermining the bit here, but I kind of like it.
This is how Francois gets points. He's just honest and lovable. God damn it. This is not what I signed up for on this show. All right?
Inner Canadian hate is not allowed on this show.
I love Francois.
There you go. Here, see, you got some points for loving Francois.
I love everybody equally. Just as long as there's points involved.
All right.
Negative points are still points, Dickie.
They are.
So
They
all
are
of his
true.
Team Canada children equally.
Yeah.
All right. So, the World Championship of Warhammer is coming up this next week. And as part of that, the secret but not so secret balance update was released to the players and then immediately leaked to the entire internet. So with that in mind, and with the fact that this is preceding the December balance update that is coming out about 2 months after we got the last Unitorm field manual, I have to ask the question, is there too much balance too fast? Let's start with Francois.
So specifically, that update really hurt Guard, so I'm all for it because I really hate Guard, and I think Guard players should feel bad about 3D printing 30 Aquilons right away. And then if they are somehow miffed that these Aquilons were immediately nerfed because they were stupid, then too bad for them, I guess. That said, I prepared for Aquilons at WCW by putting 2 units of infiltrators in my army, and there's only one Guard player in my pod.
All right. Well, I'm going to minus points for not answering the question of is there too much balance too fast, and just bitching about Aquilons the entire time.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Boy.
Dickie, too much balance too fast?
Well, I'm not going to answer the question in any way. I will go on a long tangent. So I can tell you the exact moment, ladies and gentlemen, just look at me, listen to me, the exact moment that Aquilons got nerfed. Do you remember Josh Roberts was playing Nassim on the finals table at LD? Literally at the end of the game, Joe's camera was just off into the distance. All you see is Josh Robert typing frantically on his phone. Like, I mean, real frantically. That is the moment that Josh said, these guys, we're going to nerf them into the ground. So thank you, Josh. You did your job. And to answer your question, Seth, no. Balance as fast as you can all the time. Let's get this broken crap out of the game so we can enjoy it on a balanced basis.
Look, I gave you all the some of the points back that you lost by not answering the question in the beginning.
Yeah.
Nathan, as a man that must tell us what the meta is, do you like GW changing the meta every 3 to 4 weeks?
You know what? Yes.
Oh,
But
that a boy.
they're not doing it fast enough in the way that I want them to. And the way that I want them to do it is to Legends every orc unit so that I don't have to play against any more orc players.
What? Wow. He decided to commit suicide here on the channel.
Decided to sabotage himself.
Like, I'm done. I don't want to win.
No, it's the dramatic heel turn to villain of this story.
That's true. All right.
Because if anything has been learned, is that orcs are all better when they're in the bin.
Hey, that sucks.
Just keep
Yeah, there you go.
All right. I don't even want to ask this next question because I know what's going to happen. One of the arguments for 40K balance right now is that there are a lot of factions. And so there's an argument to be made that perhaps the way to balance the game is to remove a faction from the game. So Nathan, just go ahead and say it. What faction would you remove for the game for balance purposes?
Nathan.
I actually have a bunch. I have a list. So
Go, list the
He's
facts.
just gonna make everybody upset now.
we're gonna re-votan the votan. We are going to
Oh, that's not nice.
unwa the orcs. We are going to remove every non-baseline Space Marine chapter from the game. Orcs, no more. I mean, Space Wolves, no more wolves howling at moon.
See, at this point, Seth, that's
Blood
not giving
Angels,
you the numbers.
all black raged and gone. The only factions that will be left at the end of the day are going to be representative of what war would be like in Warhammer 40k. So 99% of people will play guard.
Just like the meta right now.
1% of people will play Xenos factions of various kinds, and then 0.01% of people will play Custodes.
No
Notice
chaos.
You didn't say chaos once. so
Or,
they
or,
just-
CS,
Oh.
or regular
Your
Space
meta.
Marines.
He's like
they're
GW,
all-
he forgot chaos existed.
Yeah.
Look, just like Orktober doesn't exist, the Year of Chaos also didn't exist.
Oh.
Just keep taking shots at orcs and see what happens. Francois?
I don't know. I'm in
No.
positive 5 points right now. I think I'm doing okay.
I think the way to achieve balance is actually to add more factions to the game. Because if you have, no, hear me out. I think we need a couple extra orc factions. Because just one orc faction is lame.
Oh,
We
yeah.
need to separate the Grots into their own thing. And
They
then we
could
need
be
like
detachments, Francois.
some
They have
sort
their own
of
codex.
super elite orcs, like the custodian version of orcs, if they believe enough. I'm sure they can make it happen. And
The
then
Krorks.
we don't have enough Space Marines. I myself
What?
own 6 different Space Marines armies, and that's rookie numbers. We need more Space Marines
Oh.
and more Chaos Space Marines. More Space Marines all along. Now we're going to get
pandering.
Emperor's Children, but I think what we need is to separate the actual book CSM into their own things. So we need Iron Warriors. We need Alpha Legion. We need
He can't even keep a straight face.
He couldn't even finish the bit.
Straight face. The
See, that's why
pandering, that
Dickie's so
pandering-
much ahead with the puppet.
that pandering is just ridiculous. Okay, so, whether the question was, should we remove? No, we should not remove factions. It's a ridiculous statement, Seth. You know better than to ask me that stupid question. I think, if anything, we need more. I'm going to echo Francois, but I'm not going to pander to the 13 factions of orcs. Just bring more factions in. I will say it is a bit frustrating from a WTC point of view that one Space Marine army, but Chaos armies can just go hog wild and bring Thousand Suns, Death Guard, World Eaters, and soon to be Emperor's Children. They should probably change that, I think.
So
Thanks
less
for making
chaos.
one.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
All right.
or was it more Space Marines?
Now,
Well, they are Space Marines.
kind of working our way from the balance topic back into worlds. Another argument for balance is we now have 20 something mission combinations in the Pariah mission packet.
Yeah.
Some of them that I've played recently with some of my friends who are prepping for worlds we're going to say interesting and maybe
You can say
slightly
really bad.
might be slightly advantaged for different players going first or second. So if you were to remove a certain mission combination or mission set from the pile that we have to try to bring some balance to the mission choices, what missions would you remove from the game, Francois?
So many.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
My internet just had a hiccup.
Dickie's
I would start
tired
by-
of your pandering.
I would start by removing any mission that has Dawn of War in it, because that is
Yeah.
just real bad.
Oh,
But
I don't understand
No.
people's hatred of Dawn of War.
that's true. You do play orcs. I'm sorry. More Dawn of War.
oh, pander.
So I will say, as someone who plays exclusively WTC combos and terrain, it has been actually refreshing to try the wackier side of Warhammer by playing more diverse missions and GW terrain. I have been enjoying it. Some of them are not the most balanced. When you get to terraform for your
yes.
opponent, for example, it's a little strong, maybe. So I think they could take a look at that. I'm not against more variety of missions, because when you play as much as I do, playing the same WTC set does get old. So don't get me wrong, I like that we're doing new things.
Yeah.
But unexploded ordnance, for instance, I guess it's better than it used to be, but that wasn't the high bar to clear. So
Yeah.
there's there's some trouble in there. But I will say for whoever designs those missions over there that I like that there's variety. I would just like that they spent a little bit more time play testing.
Yeah.
All right, Dickie, what's the worst mission you're removing?
Okay, so Terraform sucks. It's a bad mission. Isn't there a burn the objective one too?
Scorched
Which,
Earth.
Scorched Earth.
Oh, can you like purge? Like purge? Can we make that go away too? And it was funny. It's funny that you said the parody of like going first, going second. Last year when we were at WTC, going second was like if you majority went second, you were like winning. Like, oh, this round's easy, no big deal. Can we not do? Can we maybe not do that anymore? GW is probably the thought that I have. So
Well,
yeah.
look, just play Terraform and you get a great advantage going first.
Yeah, if you can, yeah. If you play like guard or Kroot or I don't know whatever crap you don't care about throwing, but like as a marine player or as like anything like Custodes, like what are you gonna put on those objectives in Terraform? Back.
Nathan,
So I think
as an
we should
avid
put-
player of competitive 40K, what mission set are you going to remove?
As an avid
Avid.
player of competitive 40K, I'm going to say we should put back in all sorts of stuff. We should put back
What are you
in
putting
more
back in?
missions.
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to put more missions in. We're
So,
not
so you're going to
take missions
dilute
out.
the
We're
mission
putting
pool is
more.
your goal to improve
Yeah,
it.
we're actually going to introduce more variety.
The solution
That
to
will
pollution
improve-
is dilution.
The solution is if we have one system, why not make a second system that's even better so we have two systems? So we can have more systems with more things.
And then we can fight
so
about
I
which
want-
system is better.
Exactly. We can go back to the old days of ITC versus WTC versus UKTC rule sets. It'll be great. Actually, what I really think we should
Why
do
are you
is
giving
GW
that
should-
dings?
Yeah,
GW should
That's the worst
really-
idea I've
not
heard all
dings.
day.
GW should
Bad
release
ideas.
special rules packets that are only distributed within certain regions that have their own
yeah.
missions so that they can introduce the maximum amount of chaos possible.
Yeah, let's
So you'll send
never.
Purge the Foe in the UK will be completely different than Purge the Foe in the US will be completely different from Purge
Yeah.
the Foe in Australia.
That was the
Once-
worst. You didn't know what 40K you're playing at any
Re-
given
Region
zone that you
locked
lived
mission
in.
packets.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That way we can truly say that they're all separate metas.
Exactly. That now when the Australia meta says it's 6 months ahead of everybody else, it can be true because it's their own meta.
I think I know why Nathan wants to do this because stats will be like useless at that point. So then he can like just stop having to run all these goddamn numbers all the time. He can just go, I don't have to do this
I
anymore.
can
It doesn't
retire
matter."
into
Yeah, I
the
can
sunset.
retire.
You can become a Peter the Falcon as well.
There you go.
That's
Play
true.
Old World. Yeah.
Yeah, I was once upon a time known for doing stats. Now I just shit talk in the
No, I
corner.
don't care anymore. Yeah.
All right. Our last question for this evening, with Worlds being on the horizon and everyone looking over the roster, it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that there's a lot less international attendees, particularly like not just international, but coming from overseas this year. And maybe some of the prominent players not returning this year, like last year's winner, Manny Chima. So why is it, do you think, that some players are choosing not to come back and defend their titles here at the World Championships of Warhammer? Nathan.
Oh, man. So, what I'm going to say is going to be mildly controversial
Oh.
because 50% of this cast are from the place that I'm going to be talking shit about. So, what I'm going to say is that the reason why so many people are not coming from across the sea is because Canada took all of the golden tickets.
Yeah.
But you know how many golden tickets Scotland got? 0. You know how many tickets Canada got? Probably like 2/3 of them. Let's be honest. And then, you know what? They're probably trying to maximize their opportunity to undo their performance at WTC by winning the WCW through
Yep.
mass numbers.
That's
This is
right.
the horde version.
The horde
golden
meta of
tickets.
WCW, the horde of Canadians descending upon Atlanta.
Yep. So that's why. It's because Canada stole all the golden tickets and then he kicked everybody in the shins and ran away.
All
Very
right.
Canadian of us. Yes.
All right. Francois, as a Canadian going, defend yourself.
I mean, I guess it is kind of true that we're we seem to be doing the Zerg Rush this year. I think we have like 44 people going somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. I guess TOs just decided to ask for tickets. Meanwhile, European TOs clearly lazy, not asking for tickets, because as we've found out in Canada, if you just get 3 friends together and like say you're holding a tournament, Mike Brandt and GW will give you like 4 golden tickets, so you could just go. It's not that complicated. Although, to be fair, it's expensive. It's a big trip. I get it. But also, probably because they're cowards and afraid to lose to the weak American meta. That must be the case, right?
Weak American meta.
American meta.
Taking a shot there at the end.
Okay, so why are like the Manny Chimas?
Yeah, why are some of the bigger names? Why are some of the less international guys? Innis isn't coming. He's afraid, I guess.
Well, did he win a ticket?
No, that's true. He didn't.
I think he did at the last minute.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So I'm going to be honest. It's probably it's an expensive trip, and a lot of these guys are WTC players, and that's an expensive trip as well. Probably less expensive.
Not for them.
But, for them, it's a little cheaper than for us. But regardless, I'm going to keep going on my point because that's all I have. I think honestly, it's just too expensive, and I don't know. Maybe they don't like the hotel. Who knows?
They did apparently not like the hotel. That was clearly communicated multiple times.
No, that hotel was amazing.
It's
nice.
It might just
it was the area of
height.
the city. It was the city.
No, well,
it was a safe. I heard it was a safe hotel. It was very safe.
I was a little bit afraid for my life walking around the hotel.
There was definitely not a naked man riding a scooter down the street one morning.
Oh.
I want to shout out one specific European, though. Olivier Weiss from France is coming with not only the Lion, but also a Dark Angels Ravenwing detachment with only like 2 models.
There's a Ravenwing detachment? I've never seen anyone play it.
There's a good reason why. And he's playing that, and there's only 2 models or 3 models in his entire list that even benefit from the strat. So that guy is either the best 40k player in all of history, or just looking to drink beers and have a good time. I don't know. I'll ask him.
We'll find out.
He did slightly prove it at WTC, right?
I mean, to be fair, if he wins WCW, I am ready to anoint him the best 40k player that ever lived.
All right. Well,
bring a baguette.
In a shocking twist this week, we have a new winner of Warp News. Despite his best efforts, Nathan has won by shitting on Canada. So Nathan, you are now given the opportunity, nay, the privilege, to monologue to the audience about whatever you want. What is Dickie showing? I don't know. We're going to go see Nathan.
Oh man, I wish I had prepared better for this.
Should be showing what I'm showing.
You should actually. Can you please just show what Dickie's screen shows for a second? Instead, Dickie, you're gonna have to start it all over again, like a Canadian. You've started it halfway through.
Start what halfway through? The show?
Yeah, the show.
That's not happening.
Why have I?
It's the only part I really wanted to see.
So.
Why have I never seen this clip? Dickie, you and I need to talk.
I actually do have something to say that is relevant to Canada. So there's a song called God Bless the USA, and there's apparently a Canadian version of it.
Oh, yes.
By Lee Greenwood, called God Bless You Canada. And I learned this recently because...
You watched Last Week Tonight.
I did. I watched Last Week Tonight, and he played the second one, and I was like, this is too much. So not only can Canada not come up with its own,
Hey, don't blame us for Lee Greenwald. He's yours.
Top-tier talent to send to WCW to win it the traditional way. You also have to crib other people's songs, even if they're terrible and patriotic nonsense.
We didn't do it. We just...
I refuse to take responsibility for Lee Greenwald. Listen, we have our share of people that I'm not super proud of, but I will not take responsibility for that one in particular.
Also, Timbits are terrible.
What?
That is true. Timbits are
this
terrible.
Son of a bitch is on this podcast besmirching Timbits.
And Tim Hortons coffee tastes burnt.
And then 99% of poutine is not good.
And the farmer's rap is crap, Dickie. The farmer's rap is crap.
Farmer's rap is not crap.
All right.
I'm glad
Well,
the
we're going to
actual
leave
more
it there for tonight,
confrontational-
folks. I appreciate my guests for coming on. They've been a lot of fun. I hope you folks have enjoyed this episode of Warp News Showdown. If you have any feedback or want to ask questions for the next show, head on over to Joe's Joe's Discord and hop on into the Warp News channel, or check it out on my YouTube channel and comment there. I'm going to be off for a few weeks. I'm going to take a nice restful vacation that I have earned by working so hard here at Warp News Showdown. So until a few weeks from now, have a good one and take it easy.